What I'd like to discuss here is the overall topic of displacement, bleed-through, and wildcards, which are all connected to the idea of enhancing entanglements. Now we're talking about enhancing entanglements between the RV sessions and the transcripts that are produced, and then the feedback session targets. So standard 1A RV with two sides. We're going to assume, and that's what the asterisk means here, that side 1 turns out to be the actualized side. So obviously it reverses, but let's just make that assumption here for simplicity. We won't know that until here, of course. Now, the idea of enhancing the feedback target has been around really for a long time, but in 1ARV we've done something unique, which is to really play up the group target. We have a large coherence, which we encourage because of our multiple viewers. And this information from the group target, when we know what that outcome is then in some sense transmitted back, if you will, to the remote viewer and finds itself in its side 1 transcript. Now, similarly, because we really think it's important to have a harmony, the wildcard target in principle does the same thing. Its enhancement, however, is left up to the viewer. And what we are finding is that since many of the viewers are really interested in wagering, which goes along with the group target and that associated side, we're getting the sense that they're not really paying as much attention. And we believe this is a problem. The wildcard target is up to the viewer. It is the viewer's choice in terms of the style of what wildcard he or she wants. And it makes sense that the viewer ought to be able to get into that in a positive way. So we really believe it's important for the enhancement of the entanglements to occur with equal strength with the group target and the viewer's wildcard target. And we'll have more to say about the wildcard target in a moment. Now, how do we improve these entanglements? What's involved in enhancing them? We're talking about enhancing entanglements through time. And emotions come in. And doesn't it seem clear that the way to enhance these are by strengthening positive, loving-like emotions? Hey, we want to do this for a long term. It's certainly true that negative, strong emotions can lead to memories which last for a very long time. But that's not what we're about here. What we're about here is enhancing the entanglement with positive, loving type emotions. And this is done really during the whole process, because everything is connected in terms of the eternal now, the past, the present, the future. So these entanglements are going on all the time, but we believe the way to enhance them is to really remain with positive, loving emotions. And this means, in the broadest sense, in terms of your intentions, attentions, and expectations at all phases. So this is the ideal situation where we have a parallel or harmony between both sides, both of which have positive, loving emotions and attachments to the entanglements. Now, as we all know, there is this concept called displacement. Displacement occurs when a viewer gives an excellent description of the non-actualized indicator photosite. How can that happen? The non-actualized IPS is never shown to the viewer at feedback time. In our opinion, the most likely reason is that somehow the information is transmitted from the analysis judging session to the viewer when the viewer is doing the side 2 transcript. Since side 1 is the actualized one, and indeed we want the accurate information to go there, a primary cause, but not the only cause, for misses is if the side 2 matches its indicator photosite very well. I'm quite open to other hypotheses, but at least right now, this is my working hypothesis, that displacement occurs when an excellent description of the side 2 indicator photosite, which is known only to the AJer or AJers, leads to an excellent match between those two, and therefore the judges say, aha, it must be side 2, and they are wrong under those circumstances if there's a real good match there. Now, that doesn't in fact help us eliminate it, but it helps us focus on why the wrong IPS information is going to the side 2 transcript as opposed to the wildcard. And it's my hypothesis now that the wildcard is more difficult to understand. If you're into wagering, for example, you would say, hey, everything is over once I know my group target. That's really all I'm interested in. So you don't pay much attention, maybe, to the wild card target. Not particularly excited about it. You don't give it as much positive, loving attention as you would, for example, with the group target. And I believe that could be a mistake. Right now, I'm getting from several people in several groups that they don't understand the wild card, that they're wondering if they can, do away with it, as opposed to what I believe would be a really important change in mindset is to say, gee, how can I get my wild card target to be really important to me? What can I do to enhance this entanglement and make this one irrelevant? That, I believe, is really our next step. And in fact, I believe this entanglement right here is the one which is going to be necessary to get us up to our 80% mark. Because both of these sides, when you're doing your remote viewing, have to be of interest to you. You have to want to do them both. You don't want to second guess them. You want to go into both of them and let your sub give information about both. So this is in fact what I now see as being a key step here. And someday I hope that we can come up with, and it'll be up to individual viewers to do this, ideas like finding missing persons, or hey, predicting the next earthquake, things which might be important to you, and you would put in that tasking. So once the viewer's choice becomes really important, then the negative displacement, this one, which can cause misses, may very well become irrelevant. And I hope, in fact, that's true. We still have the potential for bleed through. Bleed through occurs when the group target, where we have lots and lots of people paying attention to the group target, where some information from the group target gets into the side 2 transcript. That's fine. That doesn't cause any real problems because there isn't generally a good match with the indicator photosite. And even on an individual level, as we make this stronger and stronger, some viewers may get bleed through from whatever their viewer's choice is into side 1 because they're going to be paying a lot of attention here. And you know what? That's okay too. The one we want to stop is this one here, which is the remote viewers getting information from the judges. The judges have no choice but to look at the IPSs, and apparently the remote viewers sometimes pick up that information as opposed to going to their wildcard. Okay, so I hope we will discuss this a lot more, including some exciting ideas for wildcard targets, which are exciting to you, where you will find it easy to give positive, loving emotions to your wildcard. Wildcards need love too.